Ghana is only the second country in Africa after Rwanda to implement the delivery of medical supplies through drones to remote areas through drones. There are 6 zipline distribution centers so far in Omenako, Mpanya, Vopsi, Sefirioso, Ketekrachi, and Enum. The next 2 and the final 2 distribution centers will be located in Funsi in the Upper West region and Kintampo in the Boro region. This will bring zipline drone coverage to all of Ghana. Zipline has made millions of deliveries of medicine, vaccines, blood, and so on to very remote parts of Ghana and has saved many lives. I should add that Ghana currently has the largest medical drone delivery service in the whole world. In the whole world, we are leading in this technology. And what is even more impressive is that the drone centers, all these centers we've established, the 6 centers, are 100% manned by young, talented Ghanaians. 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, something exciting is about to happen. The Pharmacy Council, in collaboration with the private sector, has completed work on the digital platform for all pharmacies in Ghana, and the pilot of 45 pharmacies has been completed. Basically, the National Electronic Pharmacy Platform will offer the opportunity for everyone through a mobile phone to upload your prescription and find out in the first place which pharmacies near you have the medicine. Sometimes you have to visit 5 pharmacies before you know where to find the medicine. So when you upload your prescription, it will tell you where the medicine is, and then it will allow you to compare the prices. Then it will allow you to compare all the prices to find out which is the cheapest for you to go and buy. And this is very exciting. You will be able to order the drug. You don't have to leave your home. You'll be able to order the drug and you can have it delivered by giving your digital address and they will bring it home for you. There are a lot of sick people who cannot leave their homes. There are a lot of sick people who cannot leave their homes but need medicine. But if you have this platform, you can just order your medicine from the pharmacy, pay for it by mobile phone, and let it be delivered for you at home. The National Electronic Pharmacy Platform will be launched just in the next few weeks. And this will make Ghana, this is massive by the way, it will make Ghana one of very few countries in the world to have a national scale e-pharmacy platform. We'll be one of very few in the world to have it. We're in the education sector. We have provided Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi to 700 senior high schools. Free Wi-Fi, 700 senior high schools, 260 district education offices, and 13 public universities. And we have started the process of distributing laptops to teachers. And the next major effort on this scale is to provide tablets. And I know the Minister for Education is working on it. We want to provide tablets loaded with all the textbooks on the tablets to the senior high school students so that we don't have to carry paper and all of that. Ladies and gentlemen, with industrialization, agriculture, skills education, digitalization, our government is tackling some key challenges in this country. And these are key challenges we faced since independence. That notwithstanding, we have to acknowledge the reality of the hardships and suffering of people that people face in their everyday lives. In opposition, we promised to alleviate suffering of Ghanaians. So what have we done to mitigate and alleviate suffering? Ladies and gentlemen, the record shows that the MPP government, under the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is a government that is predisposed and committed to reducing the suffering of Ghanaians. Over the last 5 years, we have implemented measures to alleviate or mitigate the suffering of Ghanaians. And I will list a few of them. We have paid the bills of some $1 billion annually in excess capacity payments to keep the lights on and to keep doomsday away. We have reduced electricity tariffs cumulatively by 10.9%. When the previous government was in office, cumulatively, they increased in electricity tariffs by 264%. We have reduced electricity tariffs cumulatively by 10.9%. We provided free water for households for a year during COVID. We provided free electricity for Lifeline users and a 50% reduction for other users for a whole year. The electricity tariffs over the last 5 years have been the lowest increase for any 5-year period over the last 30 years. It's just been remarkable. We've doubled the capitation grant for basic schools from 4.5 cedis to 10 cedis, 10 Ghana cedis. We've created jobs and stopped the freeze on recruitment in the public sector. Hundreds and thousands of people have been recruited. Unlike the private sector, which laid off thousands of workers during COVID and reduced salaries, there were no layoffs of public sector workers during COVID. In fact, we rather added more by hiring 58,000 health workers during COVID. We have increased the share of the District Assembly Common Fund to persons with disabilities by 50%. We've exempted Kaya from market tolls. We've expanded LEAP beneficiaries by 150,000 people. We've expanded the school feeding program by 1.6 million, from 1.6 million children to 2.1 million children, and also increased the amount by 25%. We have restored teacher training allowances, restored nursing training allowances, established NAPCO with 100,000 graduates. And these programs have continued, notwithstanding the current challenges which have resulted in sometimes delays in programs. We haven't cancelled or abolished the programs. We've abolished the 3-month pay policy for teachers who were paid 3 months only for sometimes working for 3 or 4 years. We've absorbed the cost of BECE and WACSI exam registrations. We've subsidized farmers with fertilizer. We have abolished or reduced 18 separate taxes. We've reduced corruption associated with obtaining public services by digitizing most of the public sector. We've provided 600 million Ghana cedis in COVID funds to small businesses. We've made it easier to renew NHIS membership, easier to clear your goods from the port. We've spent 25 billion Ghana cedis to save the deposits of 4.6 million depositors and thousands of businesses which would have otherwise collapsed. We have implemented free TVET and we have implemented free SHS, providing free tuition, free uniforms, free textbooks, and feeding to students. Over 1.2 million children are benefiting from free SHS. And when you look at all these interventions to mitigate the sufferings of Ghanaians, over 5 years, over the last 5 years, we have spent a total of 62.3 billion Ghana cedis. 62.3 billion Ghana cedis. This is the equivalent of some $8.5 billion. And these expenditures have proven to be critical shock absorbers in this crisis period of rising prices for food and for goods globally. Ladies and gentlemen, just imagine what many households would be going through today if, in addition to all the rising prices that we are seeing, if in addition to all these rising prices, just imagine how they would have been if they had to pay their children's school fees, if they had to buy textbooks, if they had to buy uniforms, if they had to pay higher electricity prices, if they had to pay BEC and WACC exam fees. What if they had also lost their deposits at the bank? If they were one of the 4.6 million Ghanaians who would have lost their deposits at the banks? What if Dumso was back? What if teacher training allowances were cancelled, nursing allowances cancelled, and there was no recruitment of teachers? There was a freeze on public employment, no expansion of leave, no expansion of free school fees. What would it have been if these shock absorbers that the government had put in place were not there? Just think about it. Just think about it for a moment. Just think about it for a moment. We have spent 62.3 billion to put in place shock absorbers. And so it is clearly, millions of households would have been in much worse shape without these social interventions. There are some governments who were in office for 8 years without COVID, without spending any money on financial sector crisis, without dealing with all of these, teacher training, nursing training, all. They couldn't put in any social intervention. Not one. Looking around Africa, so many countries going through this crisis do not have the social interventions that the MPP government has introduced. As a government, have been very sensitive to the plight and the suffering of Ghanaians. Without these shock absorbers, things would have been much worse for our citizens. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, we are keenly aware of the challenges of these times. A few years ago, we committed to working with you to build a country in which every young person can hope and aspire and reach his or her fullest potential right here in Ghana. Everything we have done since then is in keeping faith with this contract we hold sacred. From our flagship programs in education, health, agriculture, industry, and digital transformation initiatives through entrepreneurship and youth employment, we have held nothing back in working towards this dream night and day. At the same time, I have been inspired by the achievements of our many young, brilliant minds in various fields, from sports through robotics to fintech, who have risen to the challenge of contributing positively towards this bright future against the difficult odds and obstacles. It is amazing witnessing firsthand the handiwork of young Ghanaian craftsmen and women, budding cottage industry entrepreneurs with products whose quality and branding matches any in the world, and artists whose music and stagecraft have achieved world acclaim. Over the last hour and a bit or so, I have traced in what I hope is in vivid color the positive trajectory of our economy until the twin tragedies of the global COVID pandemic and Russia's invasion of Ukraine caused to knock us off course. It is easy to forget, understandably, with the passing of time, the pandemic having been raging for 2 long years, the enormity and the impact it has had on the global economy and on ours too. But right at its very early stages, in April of 2020 to be precise, the managing director of the International Monetary Fund described it, amongst others, and I quote, as a crisis like no other, end quote. She went on to say that, and I quote, it is more complex with interlinked shocks to our health and our economies that have brought our way of life to an almost complete stop. The outlook is dire, and we expect global economic activity to decline on a scale we have never seen since the Great Depression, end quote. By the time the pandemic was just a year in, it had compelled governments globally, including Ghana, to spend a mind-blowing $16 trillion to save lives and protect livelihoods of its citizens, and to ensure businesses stay alive to provide income to millions of people. Global debt to GDP ratios rose to 97%, with average fiscal deficits for even advanced economies reaching 12%. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the sheer scale we have been dealing with 2 years on, with appreciable success, only also to be hit again by the Russian-Ukraine war in February this year, the full extent of the potential impact of which we cannot begin to fathom. But in all these, I am humbled by the overwhelming support we have received from the people of Ghana, from the groundnut sellers, the mechanics, carpenters, teachers, and students, through nurses and doctors, and everyone else in between, in facing down these storms to date, despite the hardships they have imposed on us. In the midst of the current challenges we face, we are putting in place key pillars for economic transformation of Ghana. Our progress has only temporarily been stalled. We may not yet be where we want to be, and we may be buffeted by winds of the pandemic and of the war for yet a little while. But we have made a great start, and together we will finish what we have started. We understand your desires for a bright and prosperous future, a future that would have the resilience to better withstand shocks of the nature we are currently experiencing. I am excited about the prospects of the nation we are building, the brilliant minds being nurtured who are contributing towards this vision. We must allow our mindset to build our courage that we can be amongst the best in the world at anything. Some of our senior high schools are winning robotic competition. We must believe in our capabilities and also do away with the impossibility mindset. We must believe in our capabilities. We are building a new economy. Under the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for the first time in our history, Ghana has successfully issued a national ID card. For the first time in our history, Ghana has a digital property address system. For the first time in our history, Ghana has mobile money interoperability. For the first time in our history, any Ghanaian who has a national ID card can open a traditional bank account using their mobile phone. For the first time in our history, over 80% of adults in Ghana have tax identification numbers. For the first time in our history, Ghana is using drones for the delivery of critical medicines and blood. For the first time in our history, Ghana is implementing one district, one factory. And our government has facilitated the establishment of more factories than any other government since independence. For the first time in our history, Ghana has paperless clearing at our ports. We have digitized for the first time in our history the passport acquisition process. We have digitized for the first time in our history the acquisition of driver's licenses. For the first time in our history, we have implemented the Ghana.gov platform. And people can renew for the first time in our history their NHIS membership on the mobile phone. For the first time in our history, we can apply for scholarships on the mobile phone. Thank you. So for the first time, thank you very much. For the first time in our history, Ghanaians can apply for scholarships on their mobile phones. For the first time in our history, Ghanaian students will be able to apply for student loans without the need for a guarantor. For the first time in our history, government is implementing a pension scheme for cocoa farmers. For the first time in our history, Ghanaians and law enforcement can find out the insurance status of any vehicle using the motor insurance database on your mobile phone. For the first time in our history, Ghanaians were provided free electricity for lifeline consumers for a year at the height of the COVID pandemic. For the first time in our history, Ghanaians were provided the 50% reduction for non-lifeline consumers. For the first time in our history, Ghanaians were provided free water for their year during the COVID pandemic. For the first time in our history, we provided Wi-Fi to 700 senior high schools and 13 public universities. For the first time in our history, Ghanaian pensioners can obtain their SNP pensions just after 10 days after application for their pensions. For the first time in our history, a nationwide e-pharmacy will be launched in the next few weeks. For the first time in our history, Ghana has implemented one constituency, one ambulance. For the first time in our history, we have implemented the Zongo Development Fund. For the first time in our history, we are implementing one district, one hospital under the Agenda 111. For the first time in our history, we are implementing free TVET and have established the Ghana TVET service. And for the first time in our history, we have implemented free senior high school education. Ladies and gentlemen, as I bring my remarks to a close, it is important to note that this global crisis would have hit us irrespective of which government is in office. It is a global crisis. It would have hit us. However, how well we can come out of this depends on which government is in office and its track record of delivery. Our government has achieved a lot, and as a country, we have come a long way. We must celebrate our achievements, big and small, and not seek to tarnish or belittle our achievements for the sake of politics. I look forward to all of you doing your part in making our nation great and strong. We are on the right path, with sound policies to enhance growth, fiscal and monetary policy discipline, and by the grace of God, we are bouncing back better and stronger. We will weather the storm. We will turn this tide. We will continue to work tirelessly for the good of this nation. There is no doubt that the future of Ghana is brighter and safer under our economic management. Thank you for your attention. Long live TASCON. Long live the MPP. God bless you. God bless our homeland Ghana. Make her great and strong.
Come like a kite, come like a kite, we come to them like some kite, Satawale come like a kite, forever and ever, I'll be a soldier, forever and ever, I'll be a leader, forever and ever, I'll be a teacher, forever and ever.
So the Vice President of the Republic, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, after 2 hours and 18 minutes of talking about the economics of our country, has brought his address to an end. Over here at the Pentecost Convention Center, it is all fanfare. It is complete fanfare here. And a lot of things have been said over the last 2 hours and 18 minutes. There will be several commentaries that will come out as a result of this communication by the Vice President. And we will be bringing you reactions from some of the persons who are hearing gathered as the event goes on. And so this is Asasi Radio 99.5 megahertz. We have been bringing you the Bawumia Speaks on the Economy event, which was organized under the auspices of TESCON of the New Patriotic Party and also the Dankwa Institute here at the Pentecost Convention Center. The analysis are going to continue long after this event has ended. Here at the Pentecost Convention Center, effectively, the program has come to an end since the Vice President has finished addressing the gathering. We are going to go into the midst of the people and try and get reactions from some of the party bigwigs that are gathered here. And have with me Fuseni Isa. He's a former member of parliament, and I'm going to pick his thoughts quickly about the vice president's presentation. For you, having listened to the vice president for the past 2.5 hours, or 2 hours and some 20 minutes, what are your takeaways from his submissions to the people of Ghana today?
Essentially, what he set out to do was to remind us where we have come from, where we are, and where we are going. I mean, he summarized the whole picture for us as Ghanaians. I mean, people have been waiting to hear from him, and I think that he's met the expectation. It's for us to decipher what he said within the 2 hours or so that he spoke, and I'm sure that it's going to give Ghana the hope that we need. Ghana is going to see that the government itself, in the face of all these challenges, are up on the beat and are working towards the improvement upon the lives of Ghanaians.
Probably the takeaways for most of the people who were listening was that they wanted to know from Dr. Bawumia, who is the chairman of the Economic Management Committee of our country, what the issues that have bedeviled us in recent time, petrol price increases and all that, what exactly his government is intending to do. What do you think he has said that should calm down the people of Ghana?
He took all the salient issues one after the other. Why prices were going up, why general prices in terms of inflation is going up. He mentioned specifically our interaction with a country like Ukraine, in terms and Russia, in terms of weight, in terms of iron rods and all of that. He mentioned specifically how they have managed the currency over the last couple of weeks that is holding the prices of fuel. So if you look at the speech, he addressed specifically some very salient issues that are affecting the economy today. The currency, the general price levels, and that is what we expected. And I think that he has met the expectation. We are going to decipher what he actually said. And he also mentioned what we as a nation, what as a government, with a contribution that this government has brought to this nation from 2017. That is a speech for the first time. The numerous interventions that we have brought. Can you imagine today, over 500,000 students are going to school. If these students, beside the expenses in this situation, had to pay school fees, you could just imagine what was going to happen in this country. We have cushioned this country, we have brought a lot of social interventions, and that is how we are going to manage the country going forward.
Thank you, Mr. Fuseni. And so you heard Mr. Fuseni. I'll cross over to the studios as we prepare to do more reactions here at the Pentecost Convention Center in the Central Region.
We still have the Vice President of the Republic,
Yama for any other for Quapa and for Embradio BTV and Radio SO. Na Yanko Pine a dom erade and so to me ama quine ama and a to me a baba be PMU and so ewo Cape Coast Kaswa. Na yet me a cofa live event and no it me a coso and so hono media me and His Excellency the Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia and so et me do main sending in sikasem yen economy no sending near me koni no et me koko to da and nay and so et me at the MIA wa yet me koko fair be live and glare and so et me at the Magana before any etifo no and so hono me won sem net me kona nimpa and so etumi e de MIA na ores ne ne mesimi kwa mame Rebecca Ekufu ya ono and so etumi eye the first lady of the nation, you know, and so etumi ekopie mu ase bia mpanyifo awodo ekuku dam and so kokopie mu bi e Pentecost Conference Center no and eja yetumi ekogina mu aye kofa bi live and clear and so etumi de maya na wefo ene ye na tiefu nyina no enso ewo honum na bibi anso etimi konanim ede amagana wefo ene etiefu no enso ewo ho etini sana niema nso etimi akwa ede amaye Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia wakasa donhuri mako mienu enso eni sima dunwotwe enso ni nyina no eye nkoma etumi ekoso ewo o Michael Kunugana seni o manfo bebre na esumi eka mo nsemesimi efa na o mu twemu sesezia no o man no yensi kasem no engina ye na Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia ekasa no ne nsema wetime kan ne kire se MPP aban ba ye mfinhia ba enum enie no omatumi aya de ne ma bebre enso etime yi akwan omaboa ama nurses allowance saba teachers allowance saba city no se an appreciate se ne depreciate ye no se ne ne mesimi kono ehon tanza ne nyina no enye won effort na economic management committee led by ono His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia ne bo adwuma ye ne ma enso etimi konanim ede emaye na fa wo comments ni so etimi ebra be ne agepre enya bre akenkan ni nyina no enso etimi ede ama ona ne ma enso etimi akonanim ede amagana refo enso eni etiefo ni nyina no enso ewo ho no ma ehonsem no eye kamapa enche bi ebetwa enho aba eba pe ye de nonsia kase ebo no enso ebetumi atwa so ede amagana refo eni etiefo we eye live from Kaswa Pentecost University Conference Center and etumi ekofa live event enso etumi ede maye na refo eni etiefo ni nyina no enso ho ehonsem no etimi ekonanim ede magana refo eni etiefo no enso ewo ho.
You are listening to GOB Radio in the heart of Reading Town. The station dedicated to the black community news, education and entertainment. Stay tuned.
Nonsia abo apan usima nwotwe pepepe adesma mami mobi biara akwapa ede ba GOB TV and radio enso eso emre enya so se oman ene ama wodo so nse ma mensa aka se enwumre no nsia aka se egboyi ene mitumi ade abeso mo ba bibia wo na wote menkan enso etumi ade efri ensem no edoso yepa ene idi obetie bi enso enie yebebo wi ni akopiem ewa apiate explosion na course no maami ani di ani Dr. Aye wono ene ye dwemtire ni ma committee a ne Ghana mampanyi na adan kwagufu ado epa oye se won si antimi ememehwe dwumadie no eso no wadi nsem bebre na anso etimi atudwa ye de munchire mu nyina no ebe ma na wefo etiefo no enso eho na enro den su den na etimi to ye wo Michael Kroga na ase no enam saye so ema eja enso ni mframa wo den su etimi bae no ukopie mo tembetimba market ono meja tomu den kra na meja ni to memu nkyire mu nyina no ebetumi abana ne ma akonanim ere amagana wefo ne etiefo enframa jampanturu de no efaye enso ankra pumpuni mantemono etimi atutu be boss ahodo no ya eprepra nkofa ahodo na orimonyamfo ani din enso ani ni boy lai wono eye abankrache panyi o kan kwenofo wadi nsem bebre na atuja emu nkyiremu no ebetumi abawa kwem na ne manzo etima konanim eri amagana awefo ne etiefo nyina no enso ewo honom afa ebekwa kopiem ogomua east na ye kopiem ogomua east wope Jezia no residence o manfo motewo area is ready to Ghana benim so mesi omo akwan enzo entimi afa mo emu nkyiremu no ebetumi abawa kwem na ne manzo etima konanim eri amagana awefo eni etiefo ho ye nyina nim country man songo papa we sports journalist enso our sister station and the ni Adom FM ni Adom TV one day waka na adwin ye pa ene wa tutu bi ade amagana blasters GF for ene Ghana blasters nangasa emu wo manfo awdo mo Michael Kroga na o machro madwin bebre na enso ade afa black stars call up ediko piemu enso our World Cup 2022 yi no watoto bi enso etimi ama manfo awdo na emu nkyiremu no ebetumi abana ne manso etima konanim ede amagana wefo ene etiefo nyina no enso ewo ho na sesi ano ye ne mofra no ebe konto asosuku den kra na emu nsem na ezimiete na awufo bebre na nso etima kopiem school placement center ho ya moko akopensu sanso awdo no nso etima firi omo angaza akachi emu nkyiremu ebetumi abawa kwem na ne manso etima konanim ede amagana wefo ne etiefo nyina no enso ewo ho ensem we ye ne afufuro bi ene ne ubete enzo wanwume no nzia kase ebo iso wa apia kubi matna sepa na mene kase ebo ni nyina nso etime de bro brefo travel and tour so masne ama kase ebo na etime abaji obi multimedia enzo e kan bi Luzen phones and accessories Genesis fashion designs and boutique nso kan bi ana na eni eme ko na nimpa ere amagana wefo enzo eni etie bape kase ni nchiremu nyina ebetumi ahihye so ere amagana wefo ne etiefo nyina no enso ewo honum.
You are listening to GOB Radio in the heart of Reading Town, the station dedicated to the black community news, education and entertainment. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned there na yen kwashase enso enko pm ewon to asosuku nsensem efifiri mu abanche bia ana Ghana mebunu enso eni mrante omasi so mu konto asosuku ye friend senior cycle of education no enso etimi resource baye school placement no bi abo aggregate 11 nanso wanya school bi anso etimi anko enam saye so ama wofo no enso etimi akwa akopiem enso wo school placement center ho na nkomo ben ana omudie enso ere kire Ghana fo nyina bi mu kire se sesi anu nsem na ko edeja enso ho munku enkodin ahweso mbenya school di amo mmofra no enso etimi akọ grade an benya ye any school edema no kaish eyade se ya sefem enso ho yenkọ na yenkọ tie awufo ni bi se no modin nsem no etimi atu.
Actually they place her at Kaneshi Wesley there and I'm at Ebri, so I came here and told them, so he chose Ebri girl, they didn't pick her because of science, going to do general science. He chose Ghana National, they didn't pick her, he chose Agri Memorial. So I came here and told them that now if they can give her Benkumo Ikrakmo man for girls, and up to they haven't got any results.
Have you spoken to any other official? I've spoken
to them. Even I collect some 4 boys, Sectech, Edutech, Eurocrobo. They told me they've done. But I think the first class school and the BC school we are not getting.
So this morning to you came. What have you been told today?
After that, even as soon as I report, the other boys saw me say, this guy, this woman, you are here. I know they've been seeing my face. Last 2 years, the same thing happened to me. I had twins, 1 boy, 1 girl. I've been going up and down and coming, going and coming. At Lala, I took them to a local market. So I want to tell the government, is doing what is good, but the implication is too much. So you have to cut some points from 6 to 30. They will give you your first class for B schools, and the 30 and above, they give them the C. But I know some of my girl classmates, 40, 50, they are in school. So what about those who chose? Even I had a girl here, I'm standing 9, he's sitting there. So we don't see. And now it's not all the parents. Some of the girls, even my girl, if I brought her here, maybe you collapse. Because his colleagues had 19, 30, a man had 11. That means no school chose her there. Right now, somebody call me if I have 5,000. You do for me. And after that, you will still me when I don't have any money.
Who called you for 5,000?
A certain man.
On phone?
Not on phone, one-on-one, but not in this place.
When?
That place I can't mention. Because somebody introduced me, I said no. So far my word has 11. This place, no one has requirement any money.
So people are actually paying money to
No, I haven't seen anyone, but the man called me. Man, did the charges, and I told her no. So me, I haven't paid any money. But just they are stressing me. This is all my problem.
But so the problem na ma o buy.
My problem am to buy any say me ba no wanya school. Nti me de ni pipa no ba say obenya school. Na what me akọ school.
When your grade is
24.
O buy.
Mo say me nko no mo be frɛ me. Nti minim da ko a o mo be frɛ me. Ti eno na me hwɛ ni mo say mo be frɛ me. Me pese me serese na na no moe na nkora na omunti minya school nya sa na say e bia e cha this all sen tia lo fe aba kwano so ba bia be flaba no kwan wa obeye adwuma so ansa na obenya salon le fe no nti se wo san say time ne ba na che say skakura ye se wonya obi bedidim na ahiro
O fi ne ba e
a cho mi fi te ma gwetimi asama ya chiwo akura no so se bi ne papa fi aka mi nko a nti se manya mo ase obeti mako school a ye sa na so me be e ma na bia no kora wondi osu da bi osu am say me fa no school no be ko
enti nsem we na ja awofo ni bi nso etimi kopie mu enso school placement center ho won krapumpuni mantem wonum a yakofa bi dia me na wefo enso ani etiefo no ewo honum ye mo wi ni enko ball bonsensem kakra ye nyina nim se nche bia na coach ani dia ni wotu ado ya nu be jire ma sati coach ede ma o man kokoro Ghana no ade Ghana Black Stars set ma qualify e kopie mu Qatar 2022 yi na ni me ko na nimpa nso etime dia ma ye no na unya kopie mu nso hope o manfo bebre na echim se Hobson no do yemra Salisu Muhammad emra ene unkonu ba bebre na enu na country man zongo Patrick wadi zembebre na atuja ya watu bi nso ede amani GF no owie na odi bi nso aso Ghana for mukeka sansem ni sunyina ana kakra nso aso Black Stars na ngasa eso yenko na yenko tie se no odi nsem ni tuja FI
meboa o ma se no o mo da so di business o mo di Black Stars a player agency Black Stars qualify for World Cup Ghana ni we ya wonu abrichiri wa ha we be ba ma we o mu ntimi enfa local player kran ka se we di obi ko bida wonu nyansa mo jimi professional wonu nyansa ote wonu kan ho na kofu jimi chire nku mu sa kwasa se mo koso aso mo no ti se ya se team free ne call Cameroon AFCON ko guye ni ma se ya match ba ko kuro ma ntimi anya de anche Black Stars ni ti se Black Stars Ghana qualify for World Cup no nko na Ghana ni o from Abuja straight, you do landing. You will be so only BBR. I am the fireman. Me, I fear no evil. Blasters me ball of full no ball, cap of Ben to me Jamae. World Cup draw by almost say be it say Tama African Cup AFCON draw ne by no. Once AFCON draw ne by no, ne Comoros, ne Morocco, ne Gabon, and ne Ghana. Oh, Ghana the first. Oh, Ghana the first. Morocco never toss me. Oh, 1 point. Match back Clement Niache. Anchebia, na FIFA draw World Cup aba. Ah, revenge. You know what? You best see woman. Ah, Ghana the first. Ronaldo, one cover toss me. You know what you marry. Many players, many team. Ghana new coach. Motiwana IFA president when call for the Blasters. And that's your business. Women players are agency. Women the Blasters are women team performing the NG Cup to the highest level. And you're 0-0-1-1. And you're 1-1. Blasters in more 1-1. No about 0-0. Blasters Ocean watch the cup. Say, man for players, papa, me fa planning, papa, ni coach, papa. You're very, kata, you're very, yes, I be now to me say mo say sugu fireman so fire burn you all. Mukuta short memory ampa. Madwini ni Ghana for mukuta short memory. President Mahama okaya no kure. Okaya na mu didi na tamo fire no. Na president we pa opeso kire say. Madwini kuta man waka kire mo mukuta short memory. Your good the Blasters ta ko Cameroon ko bu ye ni ma say. Puto kan. Basa still World Cup qualifier we na agency players. Still agency players. Anything here 0-0 any 1-1 no. And you correct players to pa Ghana your talent. You be pony ya say. You be show 2-0, 3-0. What I say? But agency players, average players 0-0, 1-1, 0-0. 1-1 near their way go no near their qualify for World Cup draw by so say or the top people to Ghana Uruguay apu any coach is a World Cup qualifier no you gunu contract ni say World Cup qualifier you no Blasters ni coach was one coach you by go to Portugal a qualify a World Cup. I mean plan anyway. Mu jai bibia ma efe follow ketu kreku won se sami players won dey akọ World Cup after ko bo sa performance pasano mu kuputu apo Cameroon na asa na obo bisa mi say Asamoah wa retire no minim we don't do go bisa Asamoah so wa retire na so retire what we need zo obo we me tie an so be lo chini book asa so wa retire immediately mo fa players who jino manaso based on merit o money ball Ghana qualify for World Cup was say akwa no tumilika no akwa pim pitch panel no nya Chelsea board bi mo no kwa mo friend say Chelsea wonya bi mo amafo abobo a qualify World Cup so ko fan say woni na ba be defeat of Blasters o ba bo pa Blasters bo ba woni bo ko Chelsea bench with bench wakura no ba obetum because anu akwa pim pitch pan and say gang no productive play bia what say friend say of say dey we do yi man for abri mo jani jukuimu o re ball mo bo e players bit say jukuimu ama pe mo bo hard o mani am please mo bo am pass mo ya de o mo bo names be a Ronaldinho Messi Ronaldo and word play be of see joy na mo play one big country like Ghana talent country like Ghana when bank what Chelsea bench with Ghana qualify for World Cup woman Ghana fire woman ewa abrichina ye di any show woman to say woman ni born in Palma local boys any bobo ketu kula juma ni say local league bi mo jano na muntimi nkanchire no what has no ordinary see blasters so no blaster selection and what the blasters business FA president or Jumani say locally adi obinya mpanyimfo bi a obi adi nkwasi asema me abandon fi football ma ogina wo se obi na asɛ no ɛna wa emra yɛsɛ no no ɔno ɛnti na Ghana football egu mo tetiwa na Ghana sika na edi tutu amokakwa mo yɛ mpanyimfo bi a ehwi ni mutirim mo yɛ mpanyimfo bi a mo nya Ghana sika na mo di ni fufufu ɛna mo visi esuro mudi no ya na mo visi esuro mudi no the president kwa mutimi fa ya no no tia akunya no so kufu ado no ko tia akunya no so o president kwa mutimi kika ngo asem de kire no professional mutu o ma mo phobia I say just because of corruption na mo ye na mo
enti unya kopie mu enso ewo onimonyamfo anedin any country man songo akachepe ade eze wo no ane ne kobo nkomo wa aja wotimi atutu bi enso de maji efe no ene wunsem na ni eguzwa ejina mu Ghana Black Stars akache desi a omanfo dodo na so etimi akire o madwen Eva Salisu Muhammad enso ne hops no do any players a wodo bi aka ya Ghana mpanyifo wes animu kwan so metim do maka squad no do makopie mu kata 2022 yi na no na Ghana fo bebre na akire o madwen enso etimi afaso yenko na yenko tie se ne nsem no esi
so mo ya adwumani ya boa Ghana no wo mo ja wo mo sa because wo mo sanko Salisu wo mo so ja wo mo
Tarek Lamptey and then Callum Osoro and the likes but since now others of the belief
entini yeguzwa re audio no na eja ya boy de amagana refonso ne etiefo nyina no enso etimi atibi na ne manzo etima konanim ede amaye enso ewo ho na ze ne eja Ghana fo bi no esimi e kire o madwen o mo chem se eye den kra na wasi etimi ekopie mu na ye ko weze eja ye nko fa ops no do enso eni Salisu mu eni na sefo ne mekeka ho na ne man konanim enfa ma Ghana Black Stars enke ka o mu nkwa de anka Ghana boys no yo mutime kokokoko bobo no eri ma o Michael Kono Ghana me qualify ko pie mo kata no yen form a enkobo yen kona yen ko tie se ne nsem no
oya de na ebi o ka say yenya Callum Osoro doy yenya Tarek Lamptey any Inachi Williams mo any Mohamed Salisu ye team e strong but also ka say o mamba ne de no mamba
Mohamed Salisu no no boga minimum bia minimum ba bia ntime o mama mjidi say o mama mjidi say pa boga.
All right, they chose not to come when we're playing the qualifiers, so we should give those who qualify the team the opportunity to play in the FIFA World Cup. Boss, my pounds will be every kind game no yeah no Nigeria no well.
Enti yenwe se ne niam asimi koye ye network no disappoint yen kakra bi enso wonsem no enso etimi aye kama pa edi amagana wefo enso ne etiefo nyina no enso honum na yen to nsem ne so yen kone nkopie on monyamfo ne dia ne John Kuma wodi nsem bebre na enso etimi atudwa ya wo chesisi anaban no enso hwe no onhye ne sapo mu nzopa no mfa ne ma wodo no ntimi ngu akwam sebe ya ne ma betima konanim eri amo Michael Kono Ghana na economy no enso etime nyina ne naso yenko na ye koti oni monyamfo ani dia ne John Kuma so ne odi nsem ne atuja FI
like chimwa we say like a person will be
it's one strong policy direction that made me, but we also have the leftists who say that government must intervene because sometimes when you allow only commercial rules to prevail, you kind of deprive especially the poor from such aims. Yeah. Governments should do some business.
Right.
Well, I think I am more of the middle. I believe that government sometimes, because there are some businesses that you cannot wholly privatize it, like water, like electricity, like certain social amenities or need of the community that you cannot say that you have privatized. So at some point, government has to intervene. But I strongly believe that we have to have effective structures that deliver results to these SOEs. They have to be profitable. They have to run on much more efficiency arrangements so that they can deliver positive contribution to the economy. The president was his best as always, his eloquent best as usual. Of course, what do you expect minority to say? They will never praise the president. But I believe he was fantastic as usual, representing Ghana out there. And as usual, he encouraging the African diaspora to believe that, yes, we are capable. And like he pointed it out to them, if you are not going to put your money in Ghana, where will you put it? In Europe, where they are struggling in their 30 years worse conditions. So nowhere cool, exactly what the president sought to say. And I think, as usual, he was at his best. Very reassuring. Clearly, if you look at the policy intervention.
And you know, on when you find the John Kuma and in Ghana, or didn't send baby now, let me to Jan watch them acquire. Ghana bet me ama microeconomy no enzo etimagina ne naso e wo micro kunu Ghana ha na aha na brebe makwa America se boni nyina nso etimesi ene Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia kopie mu enso Pentecost Conference Center ho ya wo de economy ni unsem ni tuja me be fan in life enso ma otimi hwe bia nyankopon ya mo china yetenasia ye be bie mu ankasa ni adai setini nsem awdo na ebe domu esko ye ni anim di form nso e wadre enso osikase mu ebe bonkomo ni ahwe ni nsem awdo no figures awdo bi otimi tuja no ni adai setini ni ahwe mu nsem pa te na ebesimi akọ asida kase koma prefer travel and tour GOP multimedia Lucien phones and accessories and so while Genesis fashion designs and boutiques so masnibi anakasebo etumi eba wakwem midi no ene ba kwabna apia kubi o frem na sai pe metumi agina na so pa enso etumi edi amount me sorry so na dwumedi edi ho etumi atoa so edi amaye na ne man so etuma ko na nimpa enso e honom nyankopon ya much na oni enhia ne ni nkoma wodo en fa Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia ne nkoma otimi edi betu dwa no enso ebi e wo honom makraw